Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and this is my review of The Dictator by Sacha Baron Cohen. I hate nostalgia. I actually kind of despise it. I see it as very weak. This happened when I was just younger, therefore it's better. But, one of the things, these troubled times, and they actually are, I would say right now, like, at least definitely online, but at a smaller extent in the regular world, although most normal people are normal, they don't get caught up in politics and online shit. It's probably the unhappiest I've ever seen, at least America. Things are tense and weird and unhappy, and everyone's scared all the time. The funniest thing is the people I see bemoaning this the most are the ones who are making it that way. I'm always seeing SJWs like, things are so shitty right now. It's like, you're the ones making things shitty. You're the ones investigating regular people like they're running for president and trying to get them fired for jokes they said 11 years ago. Now, bringing it back to The Dictator, one of the things that drives me nuts is when SJWs will try to cancel someone, will try to get someone will try to ruin someone's life, and they will find a joke they said back when that was the popular style of humor. Transgressive humor, saying rude and weird and mean things just to get a shock reaction, was quite popular from the late 80s until about 6 years ago. Yeah, you don't have to go back that far to find a comedy that showed in all the multiplexes that has like 5 joke scenes of a decapitated old black man's head, which is what you find in The Dictator. You also find the lead character at the end, when he's learned all of his lessons, tell his guards to execute his wife because he just found out she's Jewish. Like, this movie is raw. I was kind of in shock watching this. The weird thing is that as raw and rude and transgressive it is, it's also kind of like innocent. It's from those halcyon days before your whole life could be destroyed for one joke. It was when people would kind of laugh and go, oh, geez, that was too far, and then just get on with their lives. It's from a time when people were happier. And I really miss that time. Although it is funny to realize, like, even how, well, not primitive, but like, even back in 2012, like, having like a really nice smartphone was not common. You see it in the movies. Everyone just has like, what was the deal? It was like the size of a flip phone, but it wasn't a flip phone. Whatever you call that form factor, like everyone has that. But The Dictator is basically a redo of Borat with all, they don't have the interacting with regular people. They have scripted scenes, and then they have more ad-lib scenes. By the way, I usually hate ad-libbing. So like the one thing I have in common with Kevin Smith, I hate ad-libbing, but this is actually good ad-libbing. You can totally tell when they're ad-libbing. But it's, oh God, what is his name? Mantzoukas? Jason Mantzoukas? He's in there as Nuclear Nadal. And him and Sacha Baron Cohen, they'll riff a lot, and they're actually really good at it. So it's basically it's an upgrade of Borat. It's basically Borat as a leader. So you got this guy from a fictional country of Wadiya, Admiral General Aladdin, who's, kind of the typical 1980s, Middle East, Northern African dictator. They kind of show, all of his eccentricities. One of the things is that he's such... There's a lot of funny ad-libs in here. At one point, they're like... Aladdin is like almost falling off the bridge, and his friend is helping him up, and he's like, do a pull-up. Don't you know how to do a pull-up? He's like, I invented the pull-up. So it's that classic like egomaniac dictator. But at one point they're like, he even changed the language, replacing many common words with his name Aladdin, including the words positive and negative. So they cut to like a doctor's office, and the doctor says to the patient, "You're HIV Aladdin," and the patient goes like happy, sad, and then back to happy. Like this is like really funny stuff. So it's about this dictator who is basically, there's kind of like a coup. But here's what gets really interesting. Usually it's the evil dictator and then the coup, and we're going to have a democracy, but the democracy is basically the land's going to be apportioned up to a bunch of different, oil companies essentially, and it's just going to be sold off to a guy who is probably not as bad as Aladdin. He's not just going to tell people to be executed because they were eating cereal and the prize went into his friends. He's like, no, that's fine. Keep it. And then he turns to his guards and he does like the little slash across the throat. But really, really raw. The weird thing is it has that light tone of like the comedies of the day, the regular comedies. And then all of a sudden, like, they'll just say like the most raw stuff. At one point, Aladdin is using Yiddish words. And this is like a kind of like a, I don't know, inside baseball thing. So in the Borat movies, and it seems to be also in this movie, Sacha Baron Cohen will just speak Hebrew and, some Yiddish as well. But then he'll say it with like a Kazakhstan accent. And so that's, that becomes the local language. I forget what his manager's name was in the first one, but that guy was Armenian. So he was speaking Armenian. And then the daughter in the second one, she's from, I forget, somewhere in Eastern Europe. And then she was speaking her own like local language, but they just give it like a, this now it has like a Middle East, Northern African. So Aladdin is basically replaced with this idiot shepherd. And then he ends up in New York City as like a regular guy trying to get his, kingdom back. And this movie is awesome. Here's the deal. It actually did fairly well. It came out 6 years after Borat, and I remember it was, people were like, oh, it goes a little far, but people just kind of got over it. It was 2012. We were just coming out of a recession, so we were just happy to have money again. Boy, I gotta say, it's so funny how the human brain will cope. The recession in America was actually really bad. But everyone's just kind of like, oh, things are getting better. It took us several years. And things finally got good about 2015. But, oh boy, we were happy in 2012. They're like, oh, geez, unemployment's below 11%. Wow. It was, it made like triple the budget. And I remember it wasn't a huge hit, but everyone who saw it liked it, and then like it totally fell down the memory hole. I'm guessing because it's really hard to show this on like regular cable at 7 p.m. I mean, it's offensive, but it's in like this like weird way where we're gonna say like the worst things. One of the, I think, ad-libbed lines is Aladdin uses Yiddish, and then so him and his friend, they're very anti-Semitic, which is Sacha Baron Cohen is Jewish. But they're supposed to be these a dictator and his nuclear chief of nuclear development. So they don't like Jews. But living in New York City, so Nadal's like, why are you using Yiddish? He's like, the words, they really fit what they're describing. And then later he uses another Yiddish word, and his friend goes, I'm sorry I didn't get the Evite to your bar mitzvah. Now, first of all, Evite is a very like 2012, reference, but like that was funny. That's like really funny. And this movie is like, and then even they'll just do like straight up like Bugs Bunny physical humor. At one point, Aladdin is sliding across a wire to get into a hotel and kill his double. But then he stops right in the middle, and the scientist is like, what the hell? I did all the calculations. Like, what do you have in your pockets? And he has like this stupid, he's like, he pulls out this giant thing. He's like, what is that? He's like, Vita Coco water. It has as much potassium as 3 bananas. He's like, throw it. He throws it down. He goes, what is in the other pocket? He pulls out 3 bananas. He goes, 3 bananas? He's like, why do you have 3 bananas if the Vita Coco has as much potassium? He goes, I don't trust them. Like, this is like hilarious. And again, like at the end, there's like a little political speech, but honestly, like I see the point of view. I don't agree with all of it, but they get a lot of entertainment, and then they have a speech that has like a double, it has a double meaning, and it's humorous in its way. But then at the end, in the classic thing where the dictator has learned everything, like when he finds out his wife is Jewish, he like tells his guards to execute her. And I actually thought she was going to be executed, but then they do that little scenes during the credits and she's still alive and she's on a talk show and she's like, they're like, I've got a case of the babies. And then Aladdin says, oh, are you having a boy or an abortion? Like, what the hell? But again, even though these are very raw, offensive jokes, I find it like more innocent because it was like, hey, I'm telling these rude jokes, but we're all grown-ups here. You bought the ticket, you read the review, you knew what you were getting in for. If you didn't want to see it, you didn't have to see it. It doesn't get shown on cable barely ever until now it's on Amazon Prime because of Borat 2. But like the idea that grown-ups could tell rude jokes and just get on with their lives, it seems like very quaint and innocent and like idyllic. And I want to go back to those days. I want to go back to the days when grown-ups weren't tattletaling on each other. Like that's what canceling is. That's someone in their 30s or 40s or 50s tattletaling. The hell? So it's absolutely a recommend. And it's fantastic. I know he did this Brothers Grimsby in like 2016. That trailer showed in front of like every single movie for like 6 months. I'm gonna go. I have to pay for that one, huh? But I'll check that one out. But I kind of wish Sacha Baron Cohen had done more scripted stuff. I know he likes to do his Borat stuff where he puts disguises and tries to get Southerners to say racist stuff. That's like half of his career. But I think he's really good in classic scripted comedy, and I wish he would have done more stuff. But I'm gonna go check out that Brothers Grimsby soon. This is definitely a recommend. I loved it. I'm probably gonna watch it again. It was that funny. I saw it back in the day where you'd get a disc from Netflix in the mail. No, I had Blockbuster. Oh, that was the shit, because you could go at the end when Blockbuster was like really running down. You could take the DVD, instead of mailing it back, you could take it to your Blockbuster, and I had one like a block away. No pun intended. And then you could exchange it for something else. It was brilliant. Really miss Blockbuster online and their DVD service. That was freaking amazing. But definitely recommend. Go check it out. I'm probably gonna go check it out again. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I'm not sure. Oh, they got Mandalorian this week. I'm watching Dune again. I'm watching it. Does anyone want to see me do a reaction to the Dune trailer that came out a month ago? I'm really getting into the Dune franchise. I ordered the book. I'm not really into reading novels because it takes so long. I always assumed Dune was like 800 pages. So I've been talking about it lately, and people are like, dude, just go read the book. It's like 400 pages. You can read it in your free time in a couple days. I was like, oh, I didn't know it was that short. So I ordered it. It's on the way. But do you want to see me react to the Dune trailer from a month and a half ago? Or not. Or I'll do the next episode of Star Trek Discovery, and Mandalorian Season 2 is coming this week as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.